there, welcome to Songs by Sid. I'm Sid. I work in New York City and on Long Island and the surrounding area as a full-time musician, songwriter, music director, keyboard player, audio engineer, and now I'm doing this show. So why am I doing this show? Well, I love songwriting. And this show is going to be about songwriting. I love the craft of songwriting. I studied songwriting for many years in the city with a lot of great people. I learned a lot of stuff that I never knew about songwriting. Most importantly, I learned that there is not one way to write a song because all songs are different, all genres are different, all writers are different. But there are songwriting principles that you can apply to any kind of song across any kind of genre that can help you craft your song and make it stronger and communicate your message a little more clearly. I do believe in the craft of songwriting. I'm going to try to focus on that. I'm going to be using songs that I've written the music and lyrics for because I think I can demonstrate some of the songwriting techniques that I'm talking about in some of those songs, and also because the name of the show is Songs by Sid, so it makes sense. I've written a lot of songs over the years. I've written a lot of theater songs. I've written a couple of musicals, had them produced. I have written songs for corporate shows and events. I've had songs performed in cabarets in the city and recorded on people's albums. So I have a lot of songs to pull from, and I have a lot of new songs that I'm just starting to perform myself. If you're just starting out writing songs, I'm going to share a lot of tips and tools, maybe things that you haven't learned yet. If you're a more advanced songwriter, perhaps I'll have some ideas that you haven't thought of or reinforce things that you already know. We're going to develop the show over time. We're going to take input, change things, add things, fix things, just so we can share as much as possible. For now, I've got plenty to get started, so let's get started. Songs by Sid. This is a segment I'm calling the Writer's Corner. In this program, I'm going to be mostly talking about traditional forms of songwriting. Not old forms of songwriting, but standard forms of songwriting that are used in contemporary songs, in old songs, new songs, verse, chorus, bridge, AABA forms, those kind of things. Structured songs. Now, once you know the structure, once you know the form, you can certainly break those apart and do all kinds of things with them. You can make a verse be as long or short as you want it to be. You can make a chorus as long or short as you want it to be. But it's good to know the rules and the craft of writing and rewriting so that your songs communicate the message that you want to communicate as clearly as possible. I'm going to start with lyric writing. Because there are a lot of great lyric writers out there. There are a lot of not so great lyric writers, and there are a lot of people who are starting out, or even people who've been writing for a while, who don't really know the difference between a good lyric and a bad lyric. So to me, the message of the song begins with having a lyric that says what you want it to say. There are many, many great books on lyric writing. There are great books that include a lot of lyrics by great lyric writers, and I would urge anybody to get as many of those books as possible and read them because they're very inspiring. There's a lot of wonderful stuff in there. This is one book that I particularly like. I want to share it today. It's called The Craft of Lyric Writing by Sheila Davis. I think it's out of print now, but you can definitely get it online. Or used. You can get it brand new and used online in many different places, online bookstores, Amazon, eBay, stuff like that. This is a terrific book about lyric writing. It's also a great book about writing. So if you're writing anything, I would consider reading it. It just talks about how to write clearly, and how to communicate what you want to say. See, she has chapters in here. I'm just going to glance through some of the chapters. A lyric is not a poem. That's an interesting chapter about the difference between a poem, which is read as you wish to read it on your own time, and a lyric, which is going to come by at a certain pace. And so there's a difference in the way that those two things are written and the way that they're going to be heard or read. There's this whole bunch of things about form, AA, AAA form, AABA, blues forms, using the power of repetition, feeling the rhythm, word and wordplay. Pretty much every chapter in here starts with a quote by some famous songwriter or writer about various different things about songwriting, things that you may not have thought of as you're thinking about songwriting. Again, I believe very strongly that songwriting is a craft. Sometimes something comes out and your first draft is absolutely perfect. You write it down, you never change a thing. But there are tons of books where you see examples of great songs in history, and you see the first draft of them, and you see pencil marks and things scratched out where they've completely changed the whole song. Sometimes the title changes. Sometimes the whole lyric to a verse changes. And you look at the original verse and you go, that was awful. It's great, and amazing that they changed it, but it would have been a horrible song if they kept it the way it was. It certainly wouldn't have been the classic that we remember. So there's a quote in here from Stephen Sondheim, who's an amazing theater songwriter, and he basically, to paraphrase, says that the principles of songwriting are basically the same principles as writing a novel, writing a play, writing anything. It's just really communicating what you want to say. So she covers a lot of things. She even covers nonsense lyrics at some point in here. People will sometimes bring up a song like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Beatles song, or Come Together, a Beatles song, as an example of a song that doesn't really follow a structure, or doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense in the fact that it doesn't make sense. It's very clearly written to not make sense. And the way that they structure it, it does make sense in its nonsense. So there's a lot of, I don't even know if that made sense, but there's a lot of wisdom in this book. I would urge you to get The Craft of Lyric Writing by Sheila Davis. So one more thing about lyric writing. If you are looking for a way to come up with an idea for a lyric, in the songwriting workshops that I've been in the city, one of the projects that is assigned to people, or an exercise that's suggested, is to write a song about an inanimate object. Take any inanimate object that you want, not a living thing, not a person, not a dog, not a cat, but a lamp, a chair, anything like that, and find a way to write a song about it. One of the cool things about that exercise is that you will come up with ideas, you will come up with verbs and adjectives that you would not be able to use in any other kind of song about a person or about a place. It's going to help you just open your mind about writing. It's also an interesting challenge to write. One of the first songs that I remember about an inanimate object was a song called This Shirt by a great writer named Mary Chapin Carpenter. And she goes through the whole song talking about a shirt. She describes it. She talks about all the different things that it's gone through, everything from romance to a cat curling up in the shirt and giving birth to kittens, and they lost it in a Greyhound bus station, and all these different things. It's the whole song about a shirt. It's an amazing song. She's an amazing writer, and that's a really good example of the exercise about an inanimate object. So the next couple of songs by Sid, are going to be, these next couple of videos are going to be songs about inanimate objects. One is about a suitcase, and one is about a boat, in case you don't get that from the lyric. So, enjoy.
The longer you travel, the more you will find. Sometimes hopes are abandoned, dreams left behind. You carry a suitcase filled with days come and gone. Pack up that suitcase, move on. You lead and you follow, you give and you The suitcase gets heavy and you feel it's gonna break, but the framework is sturdy and the handle is strong. Pack up that suitcase, move along. Who knows where the road will lead? What's ahead in each new town? Carry with you all you need. Cast away what weighs you down. Who knows where the road will lead? What's ahead in each new town? Carry with you all you need. Cast away what weighs you down. There's always a new path. There's always a way. Don't let tomorrow defeat you today. Try to remember all those dreams come and gone. Pack up that suitcase. Find yourself a brand new place. Pack up that suitcase. Move on. Move on.
Angelia gently rocks me on the water by the bay. Angelia, she's my lady. She gets restless, that's okay. The soft white sails, they whisper, her boards, they start to creak. She tugs along the anchor as the wind begins to speak, soft and low, and I know it's time to go. Tomorrow she could carry me to Boston. Maybe we get lost along the way. We don't need any time to pack. No, we're never coming back. She leads me where she wants from day to day. That's okay. Angelia, nothing fancy. She is old now, she can fly. Angelia, understand
He's a drifter, so am I. Watch the sun come burning through a cold Norwegian day, chased it till it sank into the Carolina plain and was gone. We sailed on. Someday we will cross this sea forever. A strong west wind, the only friend we know. Find a sleepy little Spanish town where the two of us can settle down. The ocean breeze will whistle soft and low, nice and slow. That's where we'll go. And Julia, she's my lady. She gets restless, that's okay. That's our way. Great. That's my long way.
I want to introduce to you one of my big songwriting projects over the years. It's a musical called The Molly Maguires. I've been working on it for a while. My writing partner and I have won several awards for this show. We've had a Broadway workshop done by a really great producer named Bill Haber, who went on to produce Spamalot and Drowsy Chaperone and other Tony Award winning shows. Had a bunch of great actors in that show. We've done workshops at Playwrights Horizons in the city. We've done concerts and productions in Pennsylvania and in the tri-state area. And we're still working on it, and we're still working on a smaller production for licensing. And who knows, maybe we'll get that Broadway production someday. But the Mollies has been a big part of my writing journey, and I've written a lot of songs for the show. I want to just briefly introduce it, give you just a little bit of the plot, and then in each episode of this show I'm going to share a new song with you and sort of give you some inspiration for the song. So the song, basically, the show, takes place in the 1870s, around 1877, in America, in Pennsylvania. Has to do with an Irish coal mining community and a group of people who call themselves the Molly Maguires after some people, freedom fighters back in Ireland. The Molly Maguires have started rebelling against unfair coal mining conditions, and they've started destroying property and injuring people, and that's their form of rebellion. So the coal miner hires a Pinkerton detective to come in and infiltrate the Mollies, and it happens to be that this is an Irishman, and he comes in and he basically decides to become one of them. And so the journey of the show is how he becomes involved in them and involved in their cause, and comes to care for them and learn more about them. And we learn more about him, and he changes. He starts out as a very cynical guy who's had a hard time in America adapting as an Irishman. And he's willing to do anything, and not going to give too much of it away, but he grows. So I want to share with you now the opening number of the song, which is a song called, of the song called 'Cause We're Irish. And it is, what happens is the show starts with a very peaceful hillside, and then you hear a train going by in the distance, and then the train blows up. And you have these men come out, they come, and you can tell that they are responsible for the destruction of the train. And then the coal mine boss, the owner, comes out and starts interrogating people about who blew up the train. And the Irish stick together and basically tell him, we're not going to talk, we're not going to tell you anything, because we're Irish, we're loyal to each other, and that's the way we have to be. So the song is called 'Cause We're Irish. It's about the loyalty and, really strong, unbreakable bond of the Irish people in this particular area at this time. And it sets up the whole story of what the detective, the Irish detective, is going to have to break through to actually infiltrate and to do his job. Because We're Irish, opening number of the Molly Maguires.
Who lit the powder on the tracks of my railroad?
Who tell ya who? Ha! If you come here asking questions and you're hoping we will tell, you're forgetting who you're asking, or you do not know us well. Though you work us and you cheat us and you beat us like a mule, if you're thinking you can break us, you're a dreamer or a fool. We won't talk,
'Cause we're Irish.
not like that.
'Cause we're Irish.
Not one word,
'Cause we're Irish, tried and true.
On our journey to this country, we were hungry, cold and tired. Every story of the good life kept us hopeful and inspired.
But old glory isn't waving and good fortune's passed us by. We get treated like the vermin and there's no good reason why.
We are mocked, 'cause we're Irish. We are scorned, 'cause we're Irish. We are spit on, 'cause we're Irish through and through. Although signs say we're not wanted, 'cause we're Irish, 'cause we're Irish, but we still remain undaunted, 'cause we're Irish, 'cause we're Irish. We don't melt in the melting pot here, so we made us a little spot here, and we fight to protect our loves here. 'Cause we're
dreaming of my brothers and my sisters. I've got 7 back in Ireland and another 2 died.
and we're
hoping I'll be someday working black rock instead of toting loads of laundry as my mother's baking would.
and we're
Sharing all my old world Irish cooking.
And I'm happy I'm still living after eating what she makes.
and we're
Keeping all our stories and traditions, and we'll pass them to our children and their children and their children, and we're
Through with being pushed and pushed around. Through with being stomped into the ground.
and we'll do what we must do to make a change.
In the name of the Molly Maguires.
Find me the men who did this. I don't care if you have to round up every Mick in the whole damn county.
Leave us alone,
one man ain't your sinner. He was helping me fix dinner. No, I'm wrong, beg your pardon. He was planting in the garden. He was not mixed up in it. He was home there every minute. Course it's true what I'm saying. He was with me, we was praying. For my man did not do it, so don't try to tie him to it. We're just simple Irish people living ordinary lives.
Tell that false and his neighbors that he won't find no squealers, not one bobby will he catch. No, in our cozy little patch. Oh, we stand up, 'cause we're Irish for our own, 'cause we're Irish till the end, 'cause we're Irish from what may. We are proud, nobody prouder. We are strong, nobody stronger. We are loyal, 'cause we're Irish. That's all
This is a song I wrote for all of those lost souls out there. Does it feel like something's wrong? 'Cause it's taken you this long. Still you haven't really found your way. Your nights are filled with dread. There's a lot of life ahead, and tomorrow will be better than today. Tell me, how could you have known when you set out on your own? Being lonely is the hardest price you pay. But every move you've made so far will help you find out who you are, and tomorrow will be better than today. Now you're standing at the corner of hope and doubt, wondering how the story will all work out, making plans and taking chances, not sure where to go. 'Cause there's always been a battle in your brain, started by the people who caused you pain, moving fast to lose the past, that is what you know. It's hard to always see down the road to what will be, when your searching soul keeps leading you astray. There's a place for you somewhere, there's a lot of love out there, and tomorrow will be better than today. Now you're standing at the corner of faith and fear, wondering what the hell you were doing here, making chances, making strangers, start for something new. 'Cause you never had a moment of peace inside, waiting for the signal to run and hide, stops and starts and broken hearts, that's how it's been for you. I hope you know that in the end I will always be your friend. And there is one thing more that I must say. Chasing down your dreams is not as crazy as it seems, 'cause tomorrow will be better than today.
So that's it for the first episode of Songs by Sid. I want to thank you so much for joining me and for letting me share my songs and my songwriting ideas and random thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. You can write me at the email listed in the credits, songsbysid@gmail.com. I've got other social media coming up. I got a Facebook page, Songs by Sid. Got a website that I'm building, so if you check there and it's not quite up yet, check again. I'll be adding stuff to it. That's songsbysid.com. And I got a Molly McGuire's website that's going up. And I just would love to hear from you. And I hope you watch next time, Songs by Sid.